cold outside, so, and I just got back in the house. I was sitting outside for a little minute. Just trying to get my thoughts together. Some days when I reflect on all of the different various things that I went through. What's going on, James? How you doing? What's up, Frog? What's good? Okay, what's up, Edith? What's going on? I hope everybody having a good evening. Like I said, I was outside in that cold, so I'm just trying to. I don't prefer either. I prefer being celibate. Dick bring drama, whether it's circumcised or uncircumcised. It brings drama. What type of dick do you prefer? Mm? And what's going on, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Is you okay, Annie? You been hit by, you been stuck by. Ooh, let me stop playing, man. You might think I'm smashable, but what if I don't think you smashable? You know what I'm saying? You know what? Think what you want to think, sweetie. You could think I'm drunk. You could think I'm high. You could think whatever you want to think. You know, people that have low IQs, they think on a low frequency. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to Trump. Oh, for Pete's sake, we don't want to hear vulgarity, Chief Queef. Crack must be discontinued. It would take a crackhead to know whether crack was discontinued or not. So, what's going on, Taz? What's good? Man, listen, man. I appreciate y'all coming in with the jokes. I needed to laugh. I really did. I needed to laugh. So, thank you for all of the jokes. For real, you look Hawaiian, sister. Mike Hunt smells. Who the fuck is Mike Hunt? Who is that? How would you know if he smelled? Are you sitting next to him? Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of cold here in Jacksonville. So, you know, I was trying to drink me some hot cocoa and, you know, let this heat circulate because I just stepped back in the house. You know what I'm saying? Trying to thaw out a little bit. You know what I mean? You know how it is. If you anywhere like from Florida anywhere, it get 30 degrees or below that, you know, that's cold to us. You know what I'm saying? Is this Mazzy Hirono's daughter? I could be. I don't know. I mean, is that what y'all came on here for? Y'all came on here to try to roast me? It really don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? I done been talked about my whole life, man. I've had so many dark and demonic things occur in my life to where you could say whatever you want to say about me and I wouldn't be surprised. It just shows how low on the totem pole you are. You know what I mean? That's all it shows. It just shows your lack of evolution. You know? But like I was saying, man, let me take this jacket off because now it's starting to get warm. Now I'm warming up. Yeah, man. Nonetheless, man, I hope y'all having a good evening. I know I am. I know that I am happy to be alive. And, oh, your jacket is just lovely, dear. I had one like that when I was your age. It was a wool jacket. Well, thank you for the compliment, Edith. I appreciate it. Man, listen, man. I got my Eddie Monster going on, you know what I'm saying? With my little mini fro, you know what I mean, man? But listen, I don't know. I just came on tonight because, like I said, I was out and I came back in the house and then I was trying to thaw myself out because it was cold outside. To me, it was, at least to me, it was cold. And I stepped back in the door and I don't know. I know that some of these emotions that I'm feeling do not belong to me. And I think I wanted to address them a little bit. You know, some of these emotions don't belong to me. And I am not going to be responsible for carrying the burden of other people's ill choices or ill decisions. Y'all did what y'all did. And it's not our responsibility to carry the burden of the bad decisions that you all made. Y'all made bad decisions. Y'all took advantage of people who were on their way out of this world. Y'all took advantage of people who were elderly. Y'all took advantage of people who were sick. Y'all took advantage of children who trusted you to protect them. Y'all took advantage of a lot of individuals who put their lives in your hands. And now you all want to try to relinquish the responsibility of that. And the decisions that you made involving the responsibility of caring for others is a weight that you must carry. You see what I mean? That is a weight that you must carry. So don't come bringing all of that to my doorstep, because those are the burdens that you must bear. I have my own cross to bear. Earn my respect if you want this sub and like queen. I don't need to earn anything from you, sweetie. Who are you? You're not God. If you don't respect me and you don't want to subscribe or like this content, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think this is? I think people, that's the same exact thing what I'm saying. I am not responsible for your decisions. And I am not going to bear the burden of the responsibility of the decisions that you made. You're responsible for those choices, not me. Don't bring that shit to my doorstep. Real talk. Don't come to my doorstep talking about, oh, make me like you. No, sweetie, don't like me. I prefer it if you didn't. If I got to jump through hoops to get you to subscribe, I don't need your subscription. Real talk. God has already approved this content. So whether you approve of it or not is of no importance. There are a lot of people, a lot of content creators that will jump through hoops for subscriptions. This ain't that. I am not one of those content creators. I have a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Taz, keep God first. Always. Because without God, who are we? I mean, really, most people don't realize that. People think that they're important. And the truth of the matter is that without God, none of us would be in existence. And, you know, before I cut my live on, I always ask God, is this what God wants? Like, is this what you want me to do right now? Is this, like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't have a script or anything that I've written down. I usually just go off the top of the dome. Wherever the conversation goes, that's where I go. But for the most part, I see that a lot of people, when I start touching their souls, or when I start exposing their dirty deeds, that's when I get more and more adversity, or more and more of the idiots that like to come and try and roast me, or come and try and, you know, the narcissistic word salad, saying things that really don't make any sense, saying things that don't have anything to do with the topic at hand, trying to throw off the conversation, trying to talk about sex. Like, I'm HIV positive. I'm not on here to talk about sex with y'all. The only thing that I have to say about sex is protect yourself. You know what I mean? Because if you don't protect yourself, you could end up in the same situation I'm in. I mean, and when I say protect yourself, I don't even just mean sexually. I mean, when you go in doctor's offices, protect yourself. Because I ended up with this virus because a medical provider infected me with HIV on purpose. So when I say protect yourself, I mean more than just wearing a condom. I mean, make yourself aware that this system only looks at you for the benefit that you bring it. And thinking that sex is the only way to catch this disease, that's the thought process of a fool. Like, you got to be a fool to think that. You have to be a fool to go into a doctor's office, a clinic, an emergency room, a hospital, and think that these people actually give a fuck about you. Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't have insurance, the only thing that they are going to do is stabilize you. And then they're going to send you out the door with discharge papers. Hey, Purple, how you doing? That's all they care about is your insurance. That's why it's been this agenda. This agenda, the past 2-3 years, the agenda has been to get everybody on health care. Why? So that way, when they start purposely making you all sick, they can get paid for that. I mean, have y'all heard about the new virus that's going around in is it China? It's a new virus. It's a new virus. I think it's the norovirus. Yep. I'm doing great, sweetie. It's a norovirus going around. And it started right at the beginning of January, just like COVID did. And ain't nobody talking about it. Everybody's so busy talking about the wildfires. Much like how COVID started. Nobody was talking about it. I was working in the medical field. I was asking people, what's going on with this COVID? Have y'all heard about this new virus? Nobody was talking about it. Nobody even knew anything about it. And months later, they try to play catch up. Oh, snap, we got to wipe everything down. It's too late now. All it takes is a few months and a few plane flights. And the next thing you know, something that broke out in China is spreading in America. That's all it takes. And for us to be so consumed with something else to where we're not paying attention to it. I told y'all this 2-3 years ago. I said they was going to start spreading new viruses. Everybody laughed at me and said I was crazy. I didn't know what I was talking about. Now we have new viruses, and we have old viruses that somehow have begun recirculating. How do you think those viruses have begun recirculating? Because they are in labs working to ramp up those viruses, so to speak. They are using old viruses and seeing how can we tweak this to make this more potent. How can we tweak this? Because we've got everybody on this insurance now. So this time, when we fill up these these containers full of dead bodies, we'll actually get paid for them. Because when COVID hit, they was filling those containers with dead bodies. So many dead bodies, they didn't even know what to do with them. And most people who took that vaccine have fibers growing around their heart that they don't even know about. People don't even realize that that is one of the adverse reactions to the virus, that people are having fibers growing around their heart and restricting their heart from actually being able to pump blood throughout the body. That's why more and more people are having heart attacks. I mean, Russell Brand talked about this a great deal. He had a doctor on his channel where they talked about this. Yeah, they will tell you it's all in your head. And the thing about it is, people are so busy trying to make jokes about other people's shortcomings that when someone is actually giving them some good advice, they don't want to hear it. Because that person might not be dressed in the newest fashions. That person might not have 15 different bundles of hair in their head. That person may not have all of the latest and newest things that people assume that you should have in order for one to take you serious. I mean, it gets to a point to where you got to be responsible for yourself. And you have to be able to hear the frequency of a lie and the frequency of the truth. You have to be able to differentiate between the frequency of a lie and the frequency of the truth. Because what look good ain't always good for you. And if you can't differentiate between the frequency of a lie and the frequency of the truth, you are going to get caught up on what something looks like, and you are going to miss the entire point. They got us distracted right now with these wildfires. And I mean, I feel sorry for the people in California. I do. But that's a distraction. And it's a land grab. It's a land grab and a distraction. But what are they distracting us from? And why is no one talking about this new virus that is going around in China, much like COVID started? I mean, because we so busy talking about wildfires. We're so busy talking about what someone's wearing. We're so busy assuming that everything is a fucking joke. People are so willing to loot and steal and rob from people who are already being stolen from. They are already losing. It's called the norovirus. N-O-R-O. Noro. When it's not a new virus from what I read up on it, it's not a new virus. It's actually a virus that has been around. There are more people dealing with respiratory diseases this year. COVID is still circulating. And norovirus is much like food poisoning. It's much like food poisoning. However, it is contagious. Meaning that you will vomit, you will have diarrhea, and you can pass it to someone else simply from bodily fluids, or, you know, like much like how COVID passed around, touching surfaces that aren't clean, and so on and so forth. But I mean, the news feeds are so full of fires that nobody's talking about it. And that's the same way that COVID happened. That's the same way that COVID broke out. Nobody was talking about it. People just assumed, oh, you know, it's just in China. And if I'm not mistaken, they said it broke out in the same area that COVID broke out. I mean, I'm concerned about that. I don't know if anybody else is concerned, but I'm concerned about that because, you know, I was in the healthcare industry when that shit started. They didn't know what the fuck to do. Yeah, they didn't know what to do. They really didn't. They didn't know what to do, just like they don't know what to do now. And when they don't know what to do about something, they keep it quiet. When they don't know how to handle something, they don't talk about it. And they got everybody on this health insurance now. They was giving out all those fake ass commercials where they was telling you, oh, we giving out stimuluses, oh, we giving out this and we giving out that. And then when you call, you ain't getting shit but signed up for health insurance. So now they got everybody on there, had the healthcare insurance agenda. They got everybody on the insurance now. And bam. Yep. Norovirus, COVID, and RSV. That's exactly what I read. That's exactly what I seen. Taz called it. That's exactly what I seen. Yeah. And this is what they do. It's more population control. And then they gonna pump us with vaccines that don't really work, that make us even more sick. Cause from all of the things that I've seen and read, those vaccines caused people to start to develop fibrous materials. They rarely talked about flirt though. I need to look that up because I haven't heard about flirt neither. What is that? I need to look that up. I need to look that one up because I ain't even heard about that one. Flirt. Come on now. That's one thing I hate about these foods. Damn, it was some type of COVID. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to do some research on that one. But those vaccines cause people to start developing fibrous materials that basically started to develop around the heart, which constricted the movement of the heart so that the blood couldn't pump through the capillaries freely. So since the blood couldn't pump through the capillaries freely, it's causing what they refer to as dirty blood, which is something that I took notice of when I was a phlebotomist. Because when I was a phlebotomist, I used to ask my other fellow co-workers, did they notice that people who had the vaccine blood was darker and more thicker? And I would ask them these things. And everybody would look at me like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, I guess I was the only one that was paying attention, because I was asking them. The patients, they come in, they need their blood drawn. I'm the person drawing their blood. So when I draw their blood and I see how dark their blood is, the first thing I ask them is, did you just get vaccinated? And they be like, yeah, I did just get vaccinated. And they be like, how you know? Because of how dark your motherfucking blood is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I noticed that. I put 2 and 2 together and was able to connect the dots on, okay, people who vaccinated, their blood is darker and thicker. Now, all these years later, you got people talking about, stay out of the fog. What? Man, you're in the fog, sweetie. You're the one that's in the fog because you don't know what the fuck is going on. You just trying to throw dirt on something. Real talk. So like I was saying, I fucked around and I put 2 and 2 together. I was able to correlate that the thicker the blood was and the darker the blood was had some correlation with people being vaccinated. And now, all of these years later, no, your messages are not coming through, and that's on purpose, sweetie. Now, all of these years later, you have doctors actually taking note, and they're calling it dirty blood. Dirty blood meaning that the blood is thicker, it's darker, and it has more clots in it. Blood clots. Okay? So those vaccinations actually created more health issues. And do you think they gonna pay us for that? I mean, I already had took note of the fact that people in Jacksonville, Florida are being purposely utilized for scientific studies, and they don't even know it. They use the poor to study these viruses on. They use the poor to study these vaccines on. They use us because we can't really defend ourselves against this system. And instead of people taking note of what's purposely being done to us, you have imbeciles that are taking pays under the table. They are taking what they call extortion bribes under the table to come on channels such as mine and try and cause confusion. And the only motherfucker that's confused is you. Because I'm not fooled, sweetie. I knew since I was a young toddler that it was a conspiracy. And I don't believe in coincidences. I've never believed in coincidences. I've always been a type of person. If it's a coincidence, it's a conspiracy. Because it is designed to be that way. This system was designed. They study everything about our likes, our dislikes, the things that we will buy and the things that we won't buy. They study our spending habits. They study our trends. And they attempt to get ahead of the curve. so that they can have the products in the store on the shelves waiting for us when we decide that we want these products. This is what I went to school for. So I already know that it is a science behind them getting these products to the store on the shelves before we even realize that we desire or need these particular products. And when they come out with these viruses, they have patents on them. And when they patent a virus, you can bet your bottom fucking dollar that they have a cure patent as well. But instead of people paying attention, they rather remain ignorant. They rather try to come and make a mockery out of the ones who are actually attempting to lead the blind. I mean, if you want to be led by a system that is leading you over the edge of a mountain to your death, be my guest, sweetie. But do not for 1 second expect me to follow. Don't expect for me to follow behind you blindly as you lead me to my death. You said it was flirt. I gotta put this in my Google search before I forget it. Flu symptoms. Okay. Oh, okay. It is a COVID flirt infections are similar to the earlier strains of the virus. Oh, okay. Which were more deadly. The earlier strains were more deadly. But yeah, man, I mean, it's all about what you're paying attention to. It's all about what you follow behind. It's all about the things that you choose to focus on. I focus on health because I have seen how not focusing on health has led me to need to focus on my health. So I focus on that. I focus on health. I focus on what I'm eating. I focus on whether or not I am actually exercising. I focus on these things because not paying attention and trusting people is what got me in this situation in the first place. I went into a Florida Department of Health facility. And I walked at that Florida Department of Health facility, HIV positive. And this system don't give no fucks because I reported these people. And they refuse to even investigate. They don't give a fuck. I am just simply another casualty of the war on the poor. I know too much. And it's much more simpler to get people to dismiss what I'm saying about your health because I'm HIV positive. Think about it. Why would you listen to anybody who's HIV positive tell you exactly what you need to do to remain healthy? It doesn't make sense. Which is why them purposely infecting me with HIV was genius. What simpler way to get people to dismiss what I'm saying? And I understand that because I know how this system attacks us. But most people are so blind and they prefer to be blind, that they will believe the lie before they even try to research the truth. People don't want to be healed or cured of anything. People like living lives of slothfulness. They enjoy having basic conversations about private parts and the jiggly parts on a woman's body. They enjoy simple-minded entertainment. And because they enjoy simple-minded entertainment, they will never save themselves, nor will they save their children or any of their children's offspring. They will only lead their children to their deaths faster. That's all they gonna do. They gonna come on my channel and they gonna make ignorant ass childish comments. They are not going to educate themselves, and they damn sure don't want me to educate you. I mean, it's a lot easier to just be blind than it is to deal with the lashback of purposely waking up and opening your eyes. You get attacked for that. I mean, look at me. COVID happened, and I was in the plasma center telling people exactly what they needed to do so that they would not contract COVID. And the next thing you know, I was HIV positive. And no one that I've ever been with sexually is HIV positive. All because I was in the plasma center telling people what 3 products they could go and purchase so that they would not contract COVID. I didn't contract COVID until I let them people shoot me up with a vaccine. I made it throughout the whole COVID outbreak and the whole COVID pandemic without ever contracting COVID until they told me, if you want to remain working at this hospital, you have to get this vaccine. If you don't get this vaccine, then we're going to have to let you go. So I went and got the vaccine. 2 weeks later, I had COVID. Now, you can be on the outside looking in and saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I've lived this. And you could be on the outside looking in saying that I'm fucking batshit crazy. But I know what I've experienced, and you can't take my experiences away from me. Or you could look at this and say, I am going to take heed. I am going to educate myself, and I am going to protect myself and my family from any further purposely infected viruses. Because I said this last year. Are they purposely trying to infect people with HIV? I asked this question at the beginning of 2024. And by the summer of 2024, Texas had tens of thousands of new cases of HIV infections. I sat on my live and asked Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, when I realized that they had asked for $505 million worth of HOPWA funding, I asked on my live, were they purposely infecting people with HIV so that they could ask for more HOPWA funding? And by summer of 2024, there were various cities throughout America with more cases than ever before of newly infected HIV patients. And now I am asking the American public, are you going to educate yourself? Or are you going to continue to dismiss what I'm saying simply because I am HIV positive? Because I know what to do to keep myself healthy. I know how to mix supplements. I know how to mix herbs. I know how to survive off of flower petals. Do you? Seriously. What's up, Big Israel? How you doing, sweetie? And if you think that you do know how to survive off of these things, have you been put in a situation where you had the opportunity to see if you would in fact survive off of these things? And what about when you cannot access the burdock root? Because I've been in a situation where I was homeless. I've been in a situation where I was homeless and I had very little funds, which means I had very little access to certain things that were sold in the health food stores. I had to actually use the flowers that were growing on the land around me to survive. When I had little to no food, I had to utilize flower petals as food to survive. I spent 6 months on the streets surviving off of flower petals and tea. Would you be as lucky as me? I mean, there are grocery stores full of food with no real nutritional value. There are people that are obese and overweight that are still dying from lack of nutritional value. I use the knowledge that the Lord gave me, sweetie. I use the knowledge that God blessed me with in order to survive. I was literally eating flower petals to survive from starvation. How do people starve in America while eating every day? Because the food that they are eating has no nutritional value. In some cases, you can get more nutritional value from the plants growing on the side of your homes than you can out of those grocery stores. And in some instances, these health food stores or these herbal stores, those herbs and plants that they are selling you are overpriced, and they also lack value because they are being mass produced. I didn't have no money, so I was literally pulling plants off of trees And I'm not saying it to dismiss anything that you're saying. I'm just saying we got to wake up. Because the situation that I was put in on purpose was to kill me. Because they are tired of me talking about this shit. But this is my passion. This is what God blessed me with. This is what I have to offer up as right and correct knowledge. So I offer it up freely. And in most cases, I am heavily condemned for it. I mean, this is the reason why I am HIV positive. Because they thought that would make me shut the fuck up. And the truth of the matter is, it only made me more passionate about what it is that I know. Oh, thank you, Taz. It took us all year to get there, though. It took us all year to get there, but we got there. Real shit, we got there. And I appreciate y'all. I really do appreciate you for holding me down and always bringing a positive energy and always keeping the chat, you know, under control and everything. But yeah, man, I mean, seriously, I was supposed to die last year. I was in a building where I was getting sucked dry by bed bugs every day, and I did not have food to eat. And the little money that I was making working at the dollar store, all I could afford to do was pay my room fees. So I was literally in the back of that building researching the plants that was growing on that property. I was making teas out of them. Yeah, it has been a hell of a year. It has. And I mean, I knew that they were attempting to take my life. And I knew that it was supposed to be under the assumption that it was HIV related causes. I knew that. I knew that when I left my mama's house in 2024. I knew that they wanted me dead. And I knew that the only way that I was going to get through it was to go through it. And I appreciate that time because I was able to rely on the knowledge that I had to survive that. And I am glad that God took God's time in teaching me all of those various things about herbs and flower petals and supplements. And I am thankful that I was able to survive. And I would like to be able to share this information with other people without being attacked for it. Or without being discriminated against simply because I am HIV positive. Because the truth of the matter is, I am HIV positive because of this knowledge. If I didn't have this knowledge, they wouldn't have purposely infected me with HIV. If I didn't have this knowledge, when I filed the report against the medical facility in which I became HIV positive at, they probably would have actually investigated the matter. But these people want me to die in the streets, homeless, without anyone ever having believed anything that I've said. And the real question is, are you all going to allow that to happen? And I don't need you to heal me, Big Israel, sweetie. I know how to heal myself. I made it through a whole entire year without receiving HIV treatment. And I was still undetectable for that whole entire year. I can survive solely on the knowledge that God gave me. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I have been put in a situation to see myself survive solely off of flower petals, solely off of the supplements that I mix, solely off herbs that you can purchase in your local grocery stores, because that's all I had access to. I know that what I'm saying is facts because I have the lab reports to prove it. Real talk. I am not just talking out the side of my neck. And I am not quoting what Dr. Sebi already told us. These are things that I learned through God guiding me. These are things that I've learned and actually experienced working. By the time I actually got my HIV treatment again, they said that I had 430 copies of the virus in my blood. If you have anything under 1,000, you are still considered to be undetectable. And you cannot transmit the virus if you have under 1,000 copies. I had made it an entire year without receiving any medications, simply by using flower petals. No burdock roots. Flower petals that I found in the backyard of a facility that I was staying in. I didn't pay for them because I couldn't afford to pay for them if I wanted to. My blood pressure was on point. My cholesterol levels were on point. I was healthier then than I am now. And I was being sucked dry by damn bed bugs every fucking day and every fucking night. But this system wants you all to believe that the plants that grow outside in your backyard are of no real sustenance. They want you to believe that you have to outsource these things and get them from foreign places in order for them to work properly. They don't want you to realize that the reason why they are releasing chemtrails throughout our neighborhoods is to stop these particular plants from actually sprouting fruit. Has anyone paid attention to that? Has anyone paid attention to the fact that the plants that used to bear fruit no longer bear fruit? That's what those chemtrails are for. They are to stop the trees and plants that are around you and in our neighborhoods from producing fruit so that we have to remain dependent on their grocery stores in order to get fruit. I've studied those things too, sweetie, but when you don't got the funds to buy those things, what will you do? That's the question right there. When you ain't got the money, I'm not debating that those things work. I know those things work. But when you don't have the funds to purchase those particular herbs, how will you remain healthy? Really? Because it is not the wealthy that have to worry about disease. It's the poor. It is the poor and the disenfranchised that die from disease on a daily basis. It is those that lack the resources to purchase those products. Well, clearly, I was following God because I was provided everything that I needed. And Connor McCain, I appreciate you saying give it to the Lord, but this is not about religion. This is about disease. This is about diseases that are purposely being made in labs. They have the cures for, but the cures are only given to those who can afford them. And I am not debating with you about whether God cures all of those things, because for many years I asked God, why do you have me researching all of these different herbs and flowers and supplements? And last year, God revealed to me why. Through my need. This is why I had you studying all that shit for them 15 years that you was studying this for. This is why when you was in college, I used to make you spend hours upon hours up late at night researching various herbs and flowers. Because I didn't understand why God had given me a passion to research any of that. But last year, I came face to face with the reason why. Because I needed that information if I was going to survive what this system had intended for me. In order for me to survive what this system had intended for my life, which was destruction, I was going to need that knowledge. And suddenly, it all made sense. So when God calls, will you be wise enough to answer that call, sweetie? Because faith without works is pointless. And with that being said, I am going to wrap this live up, man. Shout out to my motherfucking moderators, man. We got Taz Angel in this motherfucker moderating. We got James Howard in the building moderating. I appreciate y'all, man. We made it through 2024, man. And it is 2025. Well, sweetie, if you choose to see evil, that is what you will see. I choose to see God. And that is what I will focus on. Because there is no evil without God. Are you a false prophet? You speak of them, and so a man thinketh, so a man is. Like I said, so a man thinketh, so a man is. And if all you see is wicked before you, 9 times out of 10, you yourself are wicked. If all you can bring light to is the wickedness, 9 times out of 10, you yourself are wicked. I don't know the devil to know whether the devil is a liar. But clearly, you do. So, y'all be good to yourself and y'all be good to others, because it is important. Be real with yourself. Therefore, you have the capacity to be real with others, because that is also important. Y'all know it don't take nothing to hit the thumbs up or the subscribe button. So please go on and do that for your girl. And while you at it, go ahead on and check out my music page as well, because Kneonja is now streaming on all music streaming platforms. You dig? And with that being said, man, like I said, shout out to my moderators, man. Taz, Angel, I appreciate you greatly. You know what I'm saying? And man, y'all know it don't take nothing, man. Go on and hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button. Please do that. And if you is vibing with me and you is digging the content, or you feel like you know somebody who might appreciate this particular message, please feel free and shut a motherfucking lie, sweetie.